We are only a few Fridays away before the new season of Love After Lockup is finally here. And one of the couples that will be returning this season is Shanta and True. And thanks to a source, I just learned a whole bunch of spoilers regarding their storyline and a lot of things that happen behind closed doors. So let's go ahead and get into it. And I do want to warn you guys that there will be a lot of spoilers in this video. I went on Instagram and asked my following, like, do you guys want this story or do you think it's too early? Because sometimes when I spoil things too early, people are like, oh my god, you ruined it for me. So I want to make sure that I warn everyone, if you do not want spoilers, then just go ahead and click off this video and watch another one. Yesterday, I was on my According to Amber Facebook page, and I suddenly got a message that piqued my interest of this girl, and she's like, can I give you some real tea? I'm the girl that True is hugging in the previews. I ended up missing that part in the preview, so I told her that, and I was like, yeah, spill the tea. And I was like, are you the girl that got the protection order out on True by chance? Because this girl had put a protection order out on True, I think it was in like March or April this year, and there was never really more details beyond that, and I was always wondering what that was all about. And she said, no, that was my friend Lyndon, but we both ended up getting protection orders on him, but I ended up dropping mine. And I started doing some digging and looking at her page and looking at her posts. A lot of them were about True. She posted this picture saying gay and his D is small, and then she posted this picture of him saying that he's gay, and then he posted this other picture of him. I think this was his first day out of prison, and she said fake as F. And I was like, man, True must have really pissed you off. And I was like, what exactly happened? And she said, so I was True's sister's best friend. Me and him, we talked in 2019. I just couldn't do the jail thing, so we fell off, and we would talk every now and then, on and off. And fast forward to November of 2023, he hits me up because they need some drama. So pretty much they filmed what we're about to see about 7 months ago. And she says, okay, so things were going boring with True and Shanta's storyline. He's like, hey, we need drama. He hits her up, and he told her that she could not tell anybody that she got paid $500. True is from this city in Missouri called Cape Girardeau, and this girl, I guess she lives in that area too. And so while him and Shanta were filming, they came and got an Airbnb in Cape Girardeau, and I guess she has been struggling with lupus, and it was really flared up, and she was just sleeping, she was weak, she didn't have much energy, and True PO ended up hitting him up and telling him that he was not allowed to go to Kansas City for 6 months, and that's where Shanta had moved to from Kansas so she could be with True, and they're like, okay, you can't go there for 6 months. So him and Shanta ended up breaking up on the show, and Shanta ended up going back to Kansas City, and True stayed back in Cape Girardeau, and he was with this girl all day every day allegedly, and I guess they were hooking up, and he was saying, please don't say anything to her, or I'm gonna quit talking to you. She admits that the show is going to pretty much spin this whole storyline that True is using her, but she said, to be honest, True doesn't need her because he got his own motion. And she said, fast forward, we having sex and he doing it with others, and I know this, and I ended up helping take True to go get his driver's license, and I took him 2 hours to go get a car, and I guess she claims that she's the one that took True because Shanta was in and out of the hospital due to her lupus. And she said that when she was in the car with True, she felt some type of way because he wasn't talking to her or being appreciative towards her. Instead, he was on the phone with Shanta the whole time, and he said that he had her act like she was his sister to Shanta, and she said she ended up getting pissed and she dropped him off at the car lot and she ended up leaving him there, and she said the next day they thought they were cool again, and she said he pretty much hit her up and was like, bitch F you, and I'm never leaving my bitch. So at this point she got upset. she felt betrayed and led on, so she ended up reaching out to True's mom and sister and said everything that he's ever said, and she claimed that True's mom ended up kicking him out, and at this point True's PO still wouldn't let him go to Kansas City, and he had nowhere else to go, so he ended up hooking up with this girl, Lyndon, and I guess this girl that was my source in this video, and this Lyndon girl ended up having a threesome with True. And apparently, he was telling Shanta that this Lyndon girl that he had moved in with was his best friend's girl. And he ends up moving in with her, and this girl that he had just quit talking to, she found out she was pregnant, and the timeline was matching up where True could potentially be the father. So she hits him up and she's like, look, I just want you to know you could potentially be my baby daddy. At first, True wasn't responding, so she hits up one of True's friends and was like, hey, let True know that I'm pregnant and he could be the daddy. And his friend responded and said, well, Shanta's pregnant too. And she ended up hitting True up again, and he allegedly responded and said, look, I'm not going to be losing my family for a hoe. And this girl started hitting up Shanta to let her know that her and True were seeing each other and had been hooking up. Her and True ended up seeing each other at Walgreens one day, and she started flipping out on him, and she started pouring bleach on his car and some more ish, and she said that he ended up getting mad and pushing her, and that's when she put the restraining order on him, but she ended up dismissing it. Later on, this girl found out that True was still dating this girl, Lyndon, that he had moved in with, and Shanta at the same exact time. And she ended up putting them all in a group chat together and trying to get Lyndon to admit that she had been seeing True, but she claims that this girl ended up lying for True because she wanted to still see him behind closed doors, and she didn't want to piss True off. Then this Lyndon girl did get pissed off at True because she was tired of him telling everyone that he was going to still keep talking to them. And then this is where things took a drastic turn. As I mentioned earlier, Shanta was pregnant, and this girl and one of her friends decided to plot, and they ended up following Shanta back to Kansas City, and they ended up fighting Shanta pregnant. True stepped in, and he was telling everybody pretty much F everyone, and he said, you guys are never going to have access to me again. And she said that, Shanta still really had no idea what was going on because she was believing what True was telling her and not taking all the warnings and believing what this girl was telling her when she was reaching out. True had 2 different pregnant women fighting over him. This is too much. And she said that True isn't really, the V word, violent, rhymes with silent, but with a V. For some reason, YouTube doesn't like when I say that word. But I was like, is he like that? Because, he has this order of protection, has he done anything to you physically? And she said no, but he has that way of making you feel like you need to do what he wants you to do. And she said he is very intimidating, which I mean is understandable because the man is huge. Like, he looks like a freaking security guard at Zeus. This girl claimed after she got in a fight with Shanta ended up having a miscarriage, and everybody ended up finding out that Shanta and True ended up getting engaged, and she said he kind of F with everybody, so she feels like there's more girls outside of her, that Lyndon girl and some other girl that she also mentioned. Then she revealed that Shanta is currently pregnant again. And this is the video of right before the fight broke out, allegedly, when they followed True and Shanta, and this girl got out of the car and was confronting True. And you can see True filming her. He was not filming with the camera crew at the time. I wonder if he's going to send what he filmed to the Love After Lockup producers or not. But let's go ahead and watch this without me talking. appears that girl was either throwing something or throwing punches at someone, and then this big fight ended up breaking out. And right now, like I said, Shanta is allegedly pregnant again, and her and True just had their wedding party in Virginia. I'm not sure why they decided to have it in Virginia, but they are supposed to be getting married in 101 days. She's been counting it down on Facebook. I was like, okay, so are we going to see all this juicy drama on this season? If so, I'm excited. And this girl was like, unfortunately, no. A lot of this stuff that went down between her, True, and this other girl, the cameras were not around when this was going down. And pretty much like I was expecting, she made it sound like what they did film was all them just setting up fake scenes, and she said the real drama that was going on is when they weren't filming. And that's what I hate, because when they set up and try to push storylines, we miss out on the real drama. And she said no, because they had this narrative that they was going to put me and Shanta together without her knowing, but True threatened to quit. The whole story is fake. They seen each other before on video, and the show made them say that she used to be a cop and left her after she went through ish. She was working at Whataburger, we saw on her season, and according to this girl, she claims that she was an operational partner, and she helped open one of the first Whataburgers in Kansas City, and the first few were funded by Patrick Mahomes, the quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs. So he gave her a nice chunk of money up front. That's how she was able to buy True $100 t-shirts and all this expensive clothing. And True and Shanta just celebrated 3 years of being together, and they decided to get king and queen tattoos on their hands. My source sent me different receipts of conversations she had with True. Here's her trying to reach out to True while he's with Shanta, and he's ignoring her, and she was pretty much cussing him out because she was pretty angry. And then here's True texting her saying, I paid Pepe to stay here. I gave my son some money and helped my son Mama get her car fixed. I bought Shanta some clothes and purse, and I'm paying for food because I refused to eat out of her fridge. And then True said, you had your chance when you came down here. You were acting all scared and ish. And he's talking about, you know, them hooking up. And he said, it sounded like you catching feelings, something you said you don't do. And we haven't even did ish. And she said, yes, because you're effing a lot of women without condoms. I'm sure you were effing Shanta plus the other women. Now all of a sudden you claiming Shanta publicly when you don't claim her when it's just you and me. And he said, that's on my son. I haven't talked to no other woman since I've been down here other than Shanta. And I've been telling you I love Shanta. And then this is some conversations they had in February where she called True, then True called her back, she called him, he called her back, and she said, baby daddy. And she said, you must have broken up with your girlfriend. I seen your post. And then True messaged her and said, you ready now? You hella slow. What's your point? I live with them both. It's in the air now. Now what? I don't live with you. We happy now that you helped me come clean, and you so dumb, but thanks a lot for helping get that weight off my shoulders. And she said, we been ready. And this is a conversation she's having with one of her friends where she's talking about how she was on the phone with Shanta while True was sitting right next to her, and she was telling Shanta everything she knew. And then True said, you can't even F with a picture of her, so you got what you wanted. Shanta knows about Lyndon, so now what? She's still by my side, and you can see our twins on TikTok since you want to watch her every move. And I was like, okay, is she pregnant with twins now? But she was claiming that Shanta was allegedly pregnant with twins when she miscarried. Then True was like, how do your kids feel about the fact that you're giving this dude who don't even want you all your time when you could be paying attention to them? And then she was like, bring me Shanta. Me and my friend both want her. And True said, you gotta be nuts. I love Shanta, and that's my girl. You make yourself look so effing stupid. You wanted to fight her, and you got it. She beat your butt and stomped you down. Try picking someone else because you can't see her when I come to banging. In fact, it looks like you can't even F with a picture of her. So you got what you wanted. Shanta knows about Lyndon. Okay, so this is the rest of the video, or the message that I just read a couple messages ago. And it cut off, and we read the rest just like 30 seconds ago. Here's a few screenshots she sent this, or sent to True, what she sent to Shanta, and she was asking this girl like where True was when they were following him. And then I guess this is a conversation. I think this is a conversation between her and Shanta. She did not specify this, but from what it sounds like, I think it's Shanta. And she said, you do that to us. Okay, so she was like, hey, I'll text you, but I'm not going to talk to you on the phone because every time you talk on the phone with True, you record all his phone calls. And she's like, look, I've done that with True, but I've never done that with you, and I'm not going to do that to you. And she's like, if he told you that, he's lying. He wouldn't ever be able to talk to each other. He's playing mind games. And then this person responded, I wanted to talk to you. I'm not texting anymore about it. It really don't even matter. I'm done being involved altogether. All the drama is giving me a headache and starting to wear on my mental. This is all dumb as hell. And she said, you see who she thinks you was? And she said, I'm not saying otherwise. And I think what she's talking about is True telling this other girl that Shanta was just a friend. Because it seems like his excuse with all these girls are, oh, don't worry, Shanta, that's my best friend's girl. Oh, don't worry, Shanta, that's my cousin. When in reality, these are all girls that he's allegedly banging. And this girl said, like, look, she regrets putting hands on Shanta, and she said, you know, I really do feel bad for Shanta because I think she's just brainwashed from True and he's manipulated her, but I don't feel like she is really has any ill will in the situation. And she said anytime she's ever talked to Shanta on the phone, she's always been really nice and understanding. And she said the real main problem is True, and she just wanted to get all that off her chest and let everything be known. I do hope we see some of this drama this season. I mean, she only knows from what she saw when she was around True, and they only filmed, I think, like once or twice. And I mean, she doesn't really know what happened beyond that. But I mean, they did show in the previews that Shanta was getting upset where she was accusing True of talking to another woman. And I wonder if that's that Lyndon girl that he hooked up with after this girl and him had a threesome with this girl, and he quit talking to this girl and started hanging out and banging this girl. I'm going to try to explain how I feel about this situation. Like, you know how some people, they like to go on vacation in other countries, like go to the islands, and, you know, they may be single and they just want to get wasted and hook up and have a good time. But when they hook up, a lot of the times they're not taking who they're hooking up with very seriously because they know it's going to be a difficult long distance relationship, so they're just focused on what's in front of them. And I think that's kind of what happened with True thought he was going to be able to get out, go to Kansas City. Then his PO said that he had to go back to his hometown, and when he was back in his hometown, Shanta had to stay in Kansas City, and they're away from each other. This man just did all this time, and he's trying to get him some coochie, I'm sure. And so he went with what was convenient and what was right in front of him, and that was this girl. I feel like he was flirting with her, probably saying what she wanted to hear so he could get down her pants, but really he wasn't really taking things so seriously. And even this girl claimed that, like what True claimed in the text, that she said that she don't catch feelings. So True probably thought, okay, I found the perfect girl, I can hook up with her, she's not going to catch feelings. But after they hooked up enough times and spent enough time around each other, she started developing feelings. I think True let this girl temporarily take the role of Shanta just because she was nearby and when Shanta couldn't be around because they were living in two completely different cities. And I according to this girl, he was pretty much selling this girl a dream. Like, hey, I want to be with you, and telling her everything that she wanted to hear. But then she claims once he went back to Kansas City to live with Shanta, once he started being around Shanta more, he completely switched up and acted like a completely different person and just talked to her like she was stupid and like he didn't give a damn about her. And it really hurt her feelings because she really thought that they potentially had a future together, and she's really hurt now seeing that True is living this happily ever after with someone else. And Shanta revealed that she recently got in a car accident. She said, "Big thanks to my BIG for coming through for me. I'm in a hell lot of pain. And I got a black eye, stiff face, and a damn sling, but nonetheless, I walked away blessed." And she showed all the injuries she had. She had a back sprain or strain, an elbow bruise, a head injury, a motor vehicle accident, general precautions, neck sprain or strain, shoulder sprain, and a sling. And this all happened on July 12th. That is pretty much it for this video, guys. Let me know what you guys think about everything in the comments below. Check out my lashes at AccordingtoAmber.com. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.